Welcome to the Uncle Mike's Garage YouTube channel. Can we fix it? Well, we'll certainly try. Alright, what we got going on today is my dad's got this old air compressor he got from his dad like 15 years ago. So it's probably like 40 years old. She's a little worse for wear. She takes forever to run and kick off. It's reading 230 volts, but I think it's only wired to 110. Here's all the info on the motor. But the biggest thing what's wrong with this is you can see there's a bolt screwed in a hole on the bottom of the tank. And then we have a self-tapper. Yeah, that thing ain't even tight. And a second self-tapper, and off to the left-hand side, you'll see some weld patches. Here's some info on the tank. It's probably 1,000,000 years old. We need to do something before it goes off like a bomb, because they will. So I got this Husky. It's a little smaller. It's an oilless motor, so it's screaming loud, but it works. And they don't have no holes. Pressure switch control valve is messed up. I could never get it to shut off, so I would just stick a screwdriver in there and put the contacts together, make the compressor turn on, and then I would shut it off by pulling the screwdriver out. I didn't want to bring a non-working air compressor to my dad's to give to him, so I ordered one of those new control valves, and we're going to install that today. Start by taking off the coupler there. We're going to empty the tank so it don't come shooting out when I loosen it up. Finish unscrewing it. All right. Hey, I got use for this old air compressor. Parts catcher. Next, we have to disconnect what I think is called the pressure release valve. I think it releases pressure from the lines when the compressor kicks off. Just turn it counterclockwise and pull it right on out. Next, we need to unhook these wires. It was hard to get a long screwdriver in there, so I used a screwdriver bit in a 1/4-inch socket with a ratchet. So we have 4 of them to loosen up. You don't need to take the screws all the way out, just loosen them up. Make sure you take pictures of how these wires go. Now we can turn the whole pressure switch control valve counterclockwise and remove it from the air compressor. I could do mine by hand, but you might need a wrench or a pipe wrench.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
Okay, so I need to remove the pressure gauge. Let's see if I can do that by hand. Yes, I can.
That was easy.
Okay, that definitely was easy. Now we can spin it off with it not hitting the belt. All right, let's compare the two. Looks the same. Now this is the pressure release valve. We need to take this off from the old pressure switch control valve and onto the new one. I'm going to run my wire brush on these threads just to dig out any old TFE tape. Wrap it with new tape. Not too much. You don't want to be covering the hole in the end of it. Just enough to seal up any small leaks. Then we're going to reinstall it in the correct port on the new pressure control valve. Give her a little snug and make sure she's tight. Looks good to me. Next, I'm going to run a wire brush around the threads of this as well. Make sure all of that TFE tape is gone and the threads are clean and free of debris. Add some new TFE tape. Our pressure gauge is in need of some repair, as you can see. So we're going to pop the front cover off from it and take the 2 screws out of the back. See if we can repair this. I don't even think the needle could go around in its current condition. After we get the 2 Phillips screws out of the back, we should just be able to slide this right out of the front where we took out the retaining ring and plexiglass cover. I'm going to bend and flatten the gauge face so it don't rub against the needle, and make sure the needle is not bent as well. That looks pretty good. I'm going to test the needle a little bit. It seems to be working, not rubbing. Everything seems to be in good working order. Now the back of this was bent, so I'm taking a screwdriver and just trying to flatten it out a bit. Good enough for the girls I go out with. Next, our viewing glass is looking a little worse for wear, so we're going to spit on that thing.
Huck to and spit on that thing.
Get our finger in there and just clean it up. And if one finger don't work, just go ahead and get 2 up in there. That works every time.
Oh, okay. I see what you did there.
When you're done with your fingers, always get a towel for cleanup. That's always a good move. Next, we place our glass in our retaining ring. Slide the gauge back in the outer can. Gotta play with it, get it in there, wiggle it around. Okay, we got it set in place. We're going to put our 2 screws back in the hole. After it's remounted, I test to make sure everything's moving and operating freely. Then I go ahead and replace the sight glass. Going to get a little piece of wood. This is just a hammer handle. Anything close to you, and just tap her down. Gonna hit that with a wire brush, get all the TFE tape off of that. You can see it rolling right out of those threads. There's actually quite a little bit left in there. Put a new bit of tape on there. Make sure you're not covering over top of this hole with your TFE tape. Now we're going to reinstall the pressure control valve. But I run into a little problem. When I'm tightening this one up, it's also starting to come in contact with the belt. This one's got these little tabs that stick out for the wires to go onto. I kind of bent one back a little bit. Then I noticed that it looks like I can just unscrew these and remove them from that position. The existing wiring harness has like fork style ends, so we should just be able to loosen these up just ever so slightly, pull the tabs out just like that. So I'm going to do that to all 4 of them really quick. Now that all of those are out, we can start inserting our wires into their proper positions. Snug those Phillips screws back down onto our wires. Reinstall our pressure relief valve. Stick it in and turn it clockwise. Locks right in place. Mint. Now it's time to reinstall our pressure gauge. Do not tighten it by hand like me, because I think I might have bent the can again. Get yourself a pair of vice grips. Tighten her down. Or just take a minute and find the correct wrench. Let's get all the TFE tape off of this. Put a new bit on and thread it back in. This is not threading in. It's not the same size. So I banged it with a hammer while I turned it tight with the pipe wrench. I mean, the shit looks good to me. And it works. And it don't leak. Alright, let's see what happens here. Plug it in. When we flip the switch, it should kick on. Hopefully it builds up to 125 pounds and shuts off. Let's see. The pressure gauge on my supply line is coming up, but the pressure gauge on the tank don't really look like it's coming up. The pump ran and ran and ran and never shut off. So I go to look at the adjustments and they're hot glued shut from the factory. So I went ahead and peeled the hot glue out of the holes and made a small adjustment. Perfect. This thing's all done and ready for business. We're going to go ahead and put the top back on this thing. This top has not been on the air compressor since I bought it. That works. Used at a garage sale. Going to go ahead and snap the little tabs in place. This thing's back together and ready for service. And it's not going to explode. Alright, bonus clips. Coffee pot, pan. What does this say? Welcome, friends, Critter Kitchen. Toaster, another pot, a bowl, a cup, a coffee mug. Oh my god, and a freaking wok.
Oh, he's eating. Back up a little more. Back up some more.
Oh, there we go. Finger it.
Yeah, that one got me.